So let's talk more about this all-important workforce, Generation Y, the 18 to 25-year-olds. And they're going to be in their prime of their careers in 2020. And with all due respect to anyone in this room who doesn't find themselves in that age category, the future of our community thusly depends more on what this group wants and needs than what the rest of us want and need. Why? Because the baby boomers who make up the greatest percentage of the workforce currently are beginning to leave it. Currently, it's predicted that by the year 2015, for every 5 boomers leaving the workforce, there's only going to be 1 younger worker to take their place. So it's going to be hand-to-hand combat for all of us, for talented workers, and the businesses and the communities that figure out how to attract and retain these workers, they're going to be the big winners. So what do these folks want? For Generation Y, as they're called, they're all about green, and I'm not just talking about money. They want to live sustainably in sustainable communities where they can eat organic food that's locally raised. So Wisconsin has an abundance of farmland and a heritage to go with it, right? And we also have one of the most innovative organic urban farming programs in the country, as Rocky mentioned, in growing power, all of which we should be able to leverage right now for our future. Generation Y workers are more apt to want to live in urban communities rather than rural, but they want easy. They want manageable urban areas. So they want more like Milwaukee and less like Chicago or New York. They're a really collaborative group who like to be a part of a team and work in a team-based environment. Speaking of work, it's more important for Generation X or Generation Yers to do work that is emotionally engaging rather than making a pile of money. Social media is going to continue to be the way that they engage with others. This is a generation that travels and communicates using technology in groups and packs. They also value experience over goods, they're active, and they embrace anything that's new and different. They also want to live in places that have good transportation systems and good public infrastructure. When we're recruiting young talent at my firm from other places, they often just assume that we have a well-functioning and diverse transportation system here, which includes buses and trains in addition to roads and highways. Now, far be it for me to open a can of worms, but Rocky opened it before, so what the heck. The young workforce of tomorrow, they're not going to want to live in a community that could very well become a backwater because it isn't a part of a modern rail system that connects up to other major urban sectors throughout the Midwest. Just the same way in which 40 years ago, none of us would have wanted our legislators to take a pass on developing our interstate and federal highway system, which almost happened here, by the way. But I digress. Generation X also highly values diversity. They want to engage others who don't necessarily look, act, or think like them, which is another compelling reason why being more connected with other cities and areas is so important so that we don't become insular and isolated. So how do I know so much about Generation X, or Generation Y, excuse me? Well, in addition to the research that I've done for this presentation, I live with one of them, kind of. My daughter Kelsey is a first-year law student at UW-Madison, and I have the utmost confidence that she's going to graduate and have a productive career by 2020, hopefully right here in Milwaukee. So in thinking about what that might look like, I'd like to share with you the following ideal scenario of a day in my daughter's life in Milwaukee 2020. So Kelsey wakes and looks out of the window of her sustainably built condo at a beautiful and clean lakefront. And she remembers that today she'll be the featured speaker at the Great Lakes Water Conference held at the UW-Milwaukee International Water Research Park. Leaders from all over the world are coming to hear about the transformation of how the region became the world leader in water education, research, and technologies. Kelsey knows that people have been arriving for the conference for days, many of them using the high-speed rail system that connects the Milwaukee region to what was once known as the Chicago, Madison, and Minneapolis region. She scans the computer on her wrist to read yet another news article about how prosperous the combined Milwaukee, Madison, and Chicago region, or Milmatigo as it's become known, has become since its leaders decided years ago to ignore artificial boundaries and work together with a shared vision and combined resources. Thank goodness visionary risk-taking business, political leaders, and citizens worked together, ignoring talk radio negativity and stepping up to work together. Now people from throughout the region are proud to call this place home. And business leaders from throughout the country are scrambling to relocate their headquarters here, as the area boasts a very diverse, well-educated, creative, and innovative workforce, and offers one of the highest quality of lives in the country. In fact, Milwaukee has become known as the arts and cultural mecca of the Midwest. As Kelsey heads out the door, she remembers to grab her tickets for tonight's baseball game. The Brewers, they're in the pennant race once again, and as the defending World Series champions, they're really fun to watch. So I could go on, but you get the picture. And while some of you might think that it's a stretch, some of this, I think that we could all agree that we create and we deserve the future that we get. We are really at a critical crossroads here, where it's really up to us to decide what do we value, what are we going to invest in, and what legacy do we want to leave behind for the next generation. The future is really ours to make of it what we will. Thank you.